What's happening, guys? Welcome to Let's Talk Comics, and this is the official Heroescon 2026 wrap-up video. Today is Monday. Last day of the con was yesterday. After I wrapped my con up, drove for 3 hours back home, then proceeded to sleep for 12 hours straight. So now I'm finally getting a chance to put my day 3 con acquisitions and my thoughts about the con, finally getting a chance to put that on the video. The real big activity from yesterday was, I said that if I started any run, it was going to be a run of Wally West Flash, and I picked up issue 1 for $3 because most of the times when you go to start a run, you can never find the first issue. So I already had that under my belt. And then I stumbled across this stack here. All of these issues of Wally West Flash Volume 2 or Volume 3, depending on how you want to look at it, were $1 each. I picked up 88 issues. I asked the guy, I said, hey, I got 88 here. Will you do $80 for all of them? So he said, yeah. So I got 88 issues of The Flash for $80. That's good value. My whole goal, I think I'm going to do from issue 1 to the end of the Mark Waid run, right before Mark Millar comes on for a little bit, and then Jeff Johns takes over. So I made a very sizable dent into that issue 1 to the end of Mark Waid's run for very, very cheap. As always, Heroescon gives you a good idea what comics are really worth. So many comics are worth absolutely nothing. You have your few breakout books, your few keys, your important books. The rest end up in dollar boxes. And I even saw some boxes yesterday that were, 50 cents. I even saw some boxes that they had comic books from 2026, books that are new on the shelf, and they were out there for half cover price. So just to give you a hint, if you can ever wait long enough on certain issues, you can always find a good deal. So we'll go ahead and get to what I've got here. This is a lot of stuff I got done yesterday. This is G.I. Joe Order of Battle. I got this signed by Larry Hama. If you're not familiar with what the G.I. Joe Order of Battle is, these are basically all the file cards and just put on page. Larry Hama himself, he wrote all the file cards. So, and the file cards are what gave the characters their personalities. Instead of having to assign a personality like, you would for a figure or whatever, the file cards gave a little bit of insight into what the character was all about, which really gave G.I. Joe a leg up on the competition, and probably it's what helped make it such a long-lasting property. Then I got issue number 21. This is a Skybound Kickstarter reprint. This is a silent interlude. I got Hama to sign that. It's my new Warriors trade paperback. The failures I had, I was not able to meet Stephanie Phillips and get her to sign my Daredevil. Her line was too much out of control. And I did not get Jim Rugg, and I did not get Ralph Macchio. So those were the 3. Outside of that, I got everybody I was looking for, except outside of those 3. Here's some other stuff I picked up. I found an issue of Blade, Strange Tales, by, this is a Blade Bart Sears cover. I picked this up. I think I got this for $1. I want to say I got this for $1. You can't go wrong there. I have no interest in putting together a Strange Tales Blade 4-issue miniseries run, but I can find a Blade issue. I'm going to pick this up, and it'll be included in the box that I'm taking to my box for store credit. It'll be included in a box that I'm taking to my local store for store credit. Then X-Force 1. I only pick up X-Force 1s when I find them for $1. So I picked up 1, 2, 3. Got 3 issues of X-Force for $1, and an issue of Youngblood for $1. You can't go wrong there. Punisher, Red Xmas. This was another $1 right here. I picked this up. Looks to be just like a one-shot issue by Jimmy Palmiotti and Mark Teixeira on artwork. Now, here's some other books that I paid more than $1 for. Now, if you take a look at this, this is a Predator one-shot called Invaders from the Fourth Dimension. And I remember when this came out, I picked it up when it came out on the shelf. And basically the story, the concept is during the 50s, during the drive-in movie theater era, a kid has a pair of 3D glasses on, and he's able to actually see the Predator when the Predator uses cloaking device. So that was a really cool hook. Now you see that this is $10. Now here is the John Byrne Aliens Earth Angel, about a alien that crash lands on Earth during the 50s era. You see another $10 price tag on it. Now I found this Predator miniseries 1 through 4. It was $80. I wanted to get the first issue, and I saw the first issue in many places for 60, 70, $80 in that range. Well, this guy, he cut me a deal. I got the miniseries, Predator miniseries, for $80, and he threw in the previous 2, the Aliens and that Predator one shot, for free. Now I'm going to keep the Predator 1 and issues 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to turn those in for store credit. This here is a this was a variant, 50% off cover price. So I got this for $5. Essentially, this is like if I just bought it off the shelf. This was another book that was 50% off cover price. This is a photo copy of Blade, first issue of the miniseries. I'm keeping this. TNT Comics is the name of the booth I got this from, and they were running 50% off all wall books. $25. You can't beat that. This was another book I picked up from TNT. 50% off this issue right here, Avengers 181. Then the booth I talked about earlier, who had 50% off back issues, 50% off 2026 books. I needed Moon Knight 2 and Moon Knight 3 to get caught up on this run, to get current, and they had them, and basically the guy just said, hey, give me $5 and you can get both of them. So I got really good deals on that. A lot of good deals to be had yesterday. So I picked up a lot of cool stuff. All in all, I would say my con, I enjoyed it very much. I didn't really have any big ticket books I was looking for. I had kind of kicked around the idea of getting a first X-23 Laura Kinney, but I only saw one copy of it, and it was raw, and they had $500 something on there, and that was more than I was interested in spending. So I backed out on picking that up, and I backed out on picking up first Metal Men in Showcase. So I can't complain too much. But Heroescon, as always, is a con that I recommend. It's great, 100% pure comics. I will say that this year was a lot more busier than normal. And that was not just me feeling that way. They made several announcements about attendance was an all-time high. And I think a lot of that had to do with the presence of Scott Snyder, Hayden Sherman, Stephanie Phillips being there, a lot of that contributed to this being one of the largest attended Heroescons to date. Now, one thing that I will talk about is pricing of signatures has really taken off, and it's turned into a full-on, I got no choice but to call it like a full-on train wreck. I think it's a train wreck. I think it's a shit show. You have people. I got Larry Hama. He signed both of these books free, simply for the fact that I had them made out to myself. If these books were not made out to myself, or like to Billy or to Bobby or whatever, then you had to pay $10. And then if you have personalized, which are free sometimes. Then you had just regular autograph, would cost you X amount of dollars. Then if you had a regular autograph that was witnessed by CGC, it cost X amount of dollars. Then if you had an autograph with a remark, it cost X amount of dollars. And it was just like a full-on laundry list, a full-on tier system of signatures and how much they're running you. And I just thought the whole thing has gotten kind of absurd. I understand that's the nature of the con we're at now. And you kind of really have to, that's just the new norm. But that doesn't mean I'm a big fan of it. So I'm just kind of going to gripe and complain about that for a little bit. One of the other things that I did hear about, which was problematic and it didn't really affect me, was the Scott Snyder signing. There was 2 instances where he was signing from 10 to 11. And he was only doing 2 signings a day, and one of those was from 10 to 11. Now, the problem with that is if you had a general admission pass, you could not get in until 11. So really the only people who could take advantage of that was the people who had the VIP passes, which gave them an hour early admittance. So that kind of was challenging for people who were looking to get Scott Snyder's autograph. But however, people still found a way to get books signed by him. He had a 5-book limit. So there were some people who were in line soliciting their services, saying, hey, I only have 3 books. If you have 2 books, give me $20 or $30 or whatever, and I'll put your books into my stack and get them signed. So people were being very ingenious, trying to find ways around it, and quite a few people were kind of working that hustle. And that's just finding loopholes. Kind of like they said in Jurassic Park, life finds a way. And people found a way to make it work to get their book signed by Scott Snyder. So I was in line and saw the hustle go down, and it was really it was. I can't say that it was bros being bros, because if it was bros being bros, it would have been for free, But all things considered, it was line economics. We were basically hooking each other up, trying to do what we can for the next man or whatever, so to speak. So, it was line economics at its best, and it was very inspiring to see people of all walks of life joining together and working out something to get some books signed by Scott Snyder. So I kind of thought that I kind of got a kick out of that, seeing that happen. But in short, Heroescon 2026, very much a success. I enjoyed it. I was super excited to get back home. I am at the stage in my life where being gone from the house that long is, I'm have turned into a homebody in my later years, and I was really ready. As much as I enjoyed the con, I was really ready for it to get over with and get back home. But that is a wrap up for Heroescon 2026, and I am already looking forward to next year's con. I don't think I'm going to play the signature game next year as hard as I played it this year. I kind of decided to go into it one last time. The fact that John Romita Jr. charged $30 off each signature, you know, that right there. And I had some guys charge money for signature and they wouldn't even look up and acknowledge you, and that kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So, and I'm also at the point in my collection that I've got pretty much everyone signatures from pretty much everybody that's out there, you know, at this point. So there's only a few that I would really like to get. But that is Heroescon 2026 wrap up. And as I always say, if you guys have not been there, make it a point to go. You'll really enjoy it. Heroescon is the last great pure comic books only con left standing. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.